I got it clear too. I'm blue eyes today. Blue eyes. Just call me old blue eyes.
Blue eyes.
I gotta stop making faces while we're waiting. Yep.
This automatically records, right?
It should.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
It should.
All righty then.
Alrighty.
Ooh, we have two people. Hello, hello.
Hello. Wonder if it's us watching.
We're our biggest fans. That's funny.
Wonder if it's us watching. I'll send it to Becky. It depends. You name
Hello,
it. I'm
Rachel.
sending it.
Nope, it's not us. It's there. It is another person.
Oh,
Ooh, now we have
okay.
5. Are you sending out the link?
Hi, Rachel. I am.
Yay.
I am sending it. Send. Okay, I sent it to some people and I shared it on everywhere.
All right, let me get
on all 3 of my pages. I shared. If you could all share, whoever's watching, say hi. Hi.
Hello.
Join in the fun.
Let me find
We got Nancy's watching. Peggy. Hi, Peggy. Hope you're feeling well. We have Mama Bear's watching. Hi, Mama Bear. Darren. Hi, Darren.
Here we go. I'm going to share this.
We're a little kooky tonight. It's been a busy day for the both of us.
Yeah, we're both kind of strung out over here, like a little.
We're on our last, like, I'm not even gonna say nerve because it ain't that, but I could take a nap right now. It's literally, I think I ran, and one of my we actually have clients coming back in our office now, so she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta go everywhere. Like, I'm here. She's like, "You're getting exercise." Yes, I am. I'm getting exercise. I love Mama Bear. I can't. You need to meet. Have you met Mama Bear yet, Miss Nancy?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Oh, she's awesome.
Maybe I have.
She's cute. She's a cute lady. Yep.
Well, we're just happy everybody's here to join us.
Oh, we got 10 people. Let's get this started. All right. So tonight's topic is Jack the Ripper. Fun. Another serial killer. He is the Whitechapel murder mystery guy.
Whitechapel butcher.
Yes. So it's the east end of London is actually where the Whitechapel's at. Basically, let's just start off with it was in the autumn of 1888 is when this all started. Actually, it might have started a little sooner, but they're not sure. Hi, Janet. So they're not too sure. There's definitely a known of 5, and I'm not going to pronounce this correctly, so forgive me for whoever's listening, but it's conical. I think that's how you spell it. Say it.
No, I just got done watching a documentary too, Janet. Sorry, I was reading her comment.
Oh, I wish I would have saw the documentary because that would have been cool.
I think they might have one on Netflix or something, like one of those streaming ones. I think they might have something because I remember watching.
I'm gonna have to start looking up on them now. I didn't know. I would have watched it. But I don't really watch TV until I'm going to bed and then I fall asleep. You know, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, it was at least a known 5 between the 1888 and 1891. And if you didn't see my post about my grandfather, yeah, that was a funny rabbit hole I was going down. I found out what my great-grandfather's name was because he was living during this time era, but here in the United States, not in the east end of, Europe. But My young brain, I don't know what you want to, I don't want to say stupid because I'm not stupid, but I realized as I was researching this what when the Victoria era actually was, not when I was thinking it was. So
when is it?
it was from 1838 to 1901. I thought it was in the 1700s, but hey.
Well, you weren't far off.
My whole life, I have loved the Victorian era, and I just like everything about it. The clothes styles, the hats, everything about the Victorian houses, everything. I love it all. And I was like, I always tell people, I'm like, maybe I had a past life in the Victorian era. No, it couldn't have been that soon. I didn't reincarnate that, if you believe in reincarnation. I didn't reincarnate that quickly. So I don't know.
Maybe you were at the top of you may have been first in line.
I don't know, but I did realize my grandfather was actually born at the end of the Victorian era, at the very end. He was born in the 1900s. So I thought that was a cool little fun fact that I found out about my family history as I was researching Jack the Ripper. I don't know.
All right, so he was known for killing 5 prostitutes. It was right. So it was prostitution. I mean, quite honestly, I mean, even if you fast forward into somewhat our era earlier than us, I mean, prostitution has always been kind of the easier, and I hate using that word, but the easier way for some of these, psychopath people to perform a lot of their psychopathic thoughts, I mean, because they feel like they're easily disposable.
Right.
And that's sad.
And what's sad is it was a big, thing that a lot of poor women actually did to make some money for themselves and their families.
Right.
Well,
I think this was an era where that's really all women could do.
Yeah.
As far as making money, because there, I don't even think women were, I hate using the word allowed, but able to work until like during the world wars, early 1900s, maybe I could be off. And if I am, please let me know. But I think I mean, so they had, and that's why you had all your brothels, back in that time. That's all they could do to work.
Right. Yeah. And you're right, Janet. It's still, prostitution is still big in today's day and age. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel. Yeah, it's really big. I mean, it's still, and now that we have technology, it has even more advanced. I mean, they don't even have to stand on the corners anymore. They can, like,
well, you got your OnlyFans now. You don't even have to touch your John. You just have to show pictures.
Right. Like the Craigslist killer, like we're going to do a massage. Ooh, So I'm just saying that
these ladies on OnlyFans showing their private parts are making like over 10 grand a month. Come on.
There are people that only show their feet and make buku amount of money because of people that have like foot fetishes.
I'm in the wrong business.
I know, right? You don't even have to show your face. You can just show your hands for a little bit, your feet. Oh, man, we're way off.
Okay, we seriously need to do a paranormal OnlyFans where we just, I don't know what we can show, but we don't have to show our faces and we just make money for our team.
Yes, yeah, live stream it. Live stream it.
Those paranormal people,
Well, I was talking to somebody earlier and was telling them, the 70s and 80s of the 1900s. So, anything sooner than the 70s even were the deadliest decades. And a lot of that was because you didn't have instant technology. You didn't, I mean, so technology is pretty,
It is.
it is. It helps in a lot of things, but
Yeah,
it's just,
Kyle, earmuff the baby. Grandbaby's watching. um, yeah, I definitely would agree with you on that one.
yeah.
It's oh
So, anywho, so I think you have a couple of pictures, don't you?
I do. I do. Do you want me to show the victims first?
Is that okay for the grandbaby?
Oh well, he doesn't know what he's looking at for a moment.
Okay. Okay, so who are these? These are the victims.
Oh, these are four of them.
Four of them.
That's four of them, and then this last one right here is very one of like how the murders kind of went down, and this is what they pretty much all like tend to look like. But this was the most gruesome one, and this was the very last one, and her name was Mary Jane Kelly. She was actually murdered at the end of November of 1888. Yeah. So
Yeah.
most of the five murders happened between August 31st and November 9th of 1888.
Yeah.
And it's pretty gruesome because the way that I gotta stop saying the way that he did it was he used a two-sided knife, like a carving knife pretty much, and slit them from all the way up and down, took their insides out, like he was like carving them out like they were a piece of meat.
Well, and I do believe that gave them the suspicion that it must have been somebody in the medical field at that time, or a surgeon or something along those
Right.
lines, because
Right.
of how, not only how the incisions were, but that this person knew how to remove organs and was actually mailing these to the police, as well as taunting the police with letters.
Well, Janet asked, "Do you think it was a doctor?" They're actually one of the findings that I did find. There was a kind of rumored, let's just say, that they thought it was an American doctor who was visiting at that time because of the different organs and stuff that were taken out of their bodies. So, because they were starting to do, and I can't remember, I have to find it, but they were starting to do some like weird shit, I guess. Like studies and stuff on organs, so that they were like they figured these women were disposable because they were prostitutes. So hey, let's just kill them and see what we can find. Kind of almost like kind of like if they were doing an autopsy, you know. Hi, Eddie Pence. So one of the findings was they thought it might have been a doctor, but you know. Hi, Ace.
Hi, Ace.
Hi, Daniel. And Jeremy. Yeah, so but it was that was the worst one. And the worst part was because they actually like mutilated her face all up, where the other four still pretty much you could identify them this way. Where this one you can actually, and I can't zoom in. I do apologize. I don't know how to do that. I wish I did, but you can see her face is pretty much torn off. So I'm not sure quite how they figured out it was her, but
I mean, at that point, you kind of hope she died way, way, way before all that. You know, how awful of a way to die.
Well, yeah. But you know what? I know what's sad too is like when some people whose adrenaline when stuff is happening, they still live through all this. And I couldn't like people getting stabbed 52 times and living through it. I don't get it and I don't know how, but yeah, you would hope that these ladies that were gutted didn't feel any pain right away. I don't know. But they did call him one of the before he was called Jack the Ripper. They called him the Whitechapel Murderer or even Leather Apron, and they get the leather apron from the butchers because that's what the butchers did wear. So
they also thought he was part of the royal family. Oh, really? I wonder if that was one of the 3 suspects that they thought at the time.
Well, according to, let's see, I'm gonna, according to what's his name, Richard, I think Richard Jones, the website that I really like on this guy. Yeah, Richard Jones. There was quite a few. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different suspects.
Oh, really? Something I read said that they must have broke that down at some point into 3.
I think they did because one of the main ones was. Let me get to the pictures again. Was this guy, James Maybrick. So he's one of the main suspects. And he was the reason why they think he was maybe possibly the killer is because there was a diary found in his home that he had purchased, and it was found in the floorboards. They were doing some remodeling, the current people that are in there. They were doing some remodeling and they found a diary. And it was saying, it basically brought it down to I'm the Jack the Ripper. But there was things in the diary that no one actually could have known other than the investigators. So he's one of the prime suspects.
Yeah, and then Aaron Kosminski. Do you have a picture of him? If not, I do.
Nope, you go ahead, share it.
These are just kind of a few pictures that they had of him.
And and this guy, what's funny about this guy, if you're looking at those pictures, there's no way in heck I would think that guy was 23 years old.
Yeah, he does look a lot older than that.
Because they're saying he was a 23-year-old Polish barber and prime police suspect at the time.
Yeah.
And this was from information from March of 2019, so right before the pandemic, that they say they have genetic testing that they, have found information that he is the prime killer.
And while he was a prime suspect, the reason why that they thought that he definitely had something to do with it was because of the way that he had like homicidal tendencies and the way that he treated the women. And actually, right after the last murder, he was admitted into an asylum. He basically just kind of went crazy. So.
Oh, look at that, Scott
Nice.
Wilson. Talked to a man who said he identified the Ripper through DNA. So Who did he say, Scott? Who did he say? Daniel, you said, hell no, he lied. Who lied? I missed something. Who lied? Who's lying?
Probably because of hard labor, Ace, you think? Because they had a lot more, they were building their own homes. I mean, I think there was a lot. I mean, you didn't have machinery like you do now. This was before the revolution.
I get a little older, like he was in his 50s, not his 20s. Really, I know they're drawings, they're not actual pictures, but still, that guy looked like he was in his 50s. That's what I'm saying. I think he lied about his age. That can't be a 23-year-old. I mean, I've seen some guys where they look. I remember when my kids were in elementary school and they had the high schoolers come and help at the Halloween party, and I thought this guy was a dad. He had full beard, mustache, and nope, he was 17, 18 years old. I was like,
I actually
I get carded when you buy beer at your age.
I think that one of the things I just looked up was from Russell Edwards, Jeremy.
Oh.
I'm trying to find it. But something I looked up earlier was it had Russell Edwards' picture on it, even, and that he was the one that figured out or had the DNA test or something along those lines. Like he was the reason why it happened.
Right. That's what he said.
Yeah, naming Jack. Yes, I saw that book.
So okay, so Scott and Jeremy, how did they prove that? I mean, what did they find? Blood on something? Because that's the only way after so many years. I mean, what is it? Almost 100 years? Past 100 years. Wouldn't it be
almost
that
150 out? Yeah.
I mean, it'd have to be like finding it through blood.
Or fluid, but I don't know how long that lasts.
Right.
Like how long you can preserve that.
I mean, because other than hair and teeth that don't.
The fourth victim. You know what? I did read that. That's quite amazing. As far, I mean, not any of this is good by any means, but the technology that there is to be able to go fast forward almost 150 years and be able to test and get a positive match.
Okay, but how? Okay, so my question is, though, being that they were prostitutes, they didn't have condoms back then. They just washed up and went to the next guy. How do you know she didn't sleep with that guy before? I mean, question. Like, not naming that guy ain't valid, but
that's
how you know they didn't sleep with her, and then somebody came behind him and killed her. Guess we'll never know.
Over and over and over. He's got some bad luck, man.
But seriously, though, I mean,
no, I totally agree. I would imagine it would have had to have been.
I mean, I can't believe semen lasts that long on something. That means I ain't even gonna say it.
There are children watching, Holly.
Y'all better be careful where you put it, where you place
Love
it.
Forensic Files.
Because apparently it can last 150 years. Oh no, sloppy seconds. Hey, I mean, they had to make their money. That's what they did. They just washed up and went to the next person. It's gross.
Sloppy quadrillions.
I couldn't even imagine the diseases they had back then.
Well,
that
yeah,
they didn't diagnose, but
yeah, it was a lot harder back then. Ace is right for times for women and men.
I'm not understanding what you're saying, Ace.
Is that the kidney? I thought that he mailed the kidney, or he just left it for them to find. I thought he actually mailed it to the police.
Ew.
I know.
That's gross. I mean, because there was letters sent. So we have the boss letters. He actually started writing letters because this was such a hot topic during that time frame. that the newspapers that's pretty much how they covered the news, was through the papers. So every day there was a different story article about the killer. And so he was trying to almost give them hints in the letters that he wrote. And these are like Dear Boss letters that were written to the sergeants that were placed in the newspaper, because he sent them to the newspaper. But he also did postcards. So he would write postcards, and then they're like almost like fake blood on here. Is one of them, because he couldn't keep the real blood from coagulating, so he used like a reddish kind of ink, is one of the things I found, to make it look like blood on the letters. And that's why he wrote in red ink, because he really wanted to write in the blood of his victims, which is disturbing. But it wouldn't.
Yeah, I would watch that, Jeremy, if you want to send us a link.
It wouldn't. It would coagulate too fast back then.
First serial killer to make world news. I can believe that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate it. Not that we're going to sit here and watch it right now. Show it. But yeah, it's disturbing in a lot of ways. It's gross. But they're saying that because there's the 5 known, but they're actually saying that there could possibly be about 11 of his killings, and several of them started earlier in the year, like in April. But there was some that kind of followed the same suit of these 5, but then there was other ones that did not. So they're not too sure if he moved, if it was actually him or a copycat killer. But yeah. I couldn't imagine killing somebody. Especially that gruesome.
None of that.
You gotta be so messed up in the brain to sit there and slaughter somebody like that.
No, you honestly do have to have something wrong with you, because they have proven that, people that strangle people, like, that's very personal.
Yeah.
And it takes have you ever sat somewhere for actually 2 or 3 minutes? It's a long time. Like, just to sit there, no silence, nothing. That is quite some time. And they say that, some people are able to kill other people, and they sat there in this motion for like 5 minutes. And that's a long time. Right. Especially when you could change your mind. I mean, that's rage.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've been there.
And what he did, I don't know if it was experimental.
Yeah. And I know what it feels like. So let's just put it that way. I know what the hands around the throat feels like. But yeah, I mean, that's like a slow kind of way of going, with someone strangling you, and you got to use so much pressure to do that. But to sit and stab somebody and then
over right and up, over, yes.
But and then to like slice them up the belly and then take out their innards, like, they were thinking too it was a doctor from the U.S. Because like for carrying out babies and stuff. They were practicing that kind of stuff. Like they wanted to do figure out the female anatomy. So that was one of the other stories that I saw too. I was like, that's not a good way to figure that out. No. Mm-mm.
That's awful.
Don't mind Ken's or Ace's comment. Mm-mm. That is not a romantic movie whatsoever. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But it was gruesome. It was basically this guy who was a serial killer, killed females, and then made a house out of their bodies.
Really?
So that's why it's called the house that Jack built. It was a house of dead bodies, basically. It was gross. I don't
That's
like
disturbing.
It was very disturbing, and he thinks it's a romantic comedy.
Of course he does.
Well, because what the guy did was he dated the girls and then he killed them. It was sickening. It was gross. I didn't like it. Anywho, yeah. So I couldn't imagine it. And there's some pretty let's see. Where I was going with this. I don't even know. I'm getting tired. I apologize. See, I wish I would have known about that one guy. I would have looked him up a little bit more. I would have probably had one of you guys come on with us.
There is a book called The Five, and it's the untold lives of the women killed by Jack the Ripper. From 2019 is when it was published, it looks like. Arguing about or taking the positions of the prostitutes side of it and telling you their life stories and how desperate and poverty riven most of them were, just trying to make money to even just to survive by themselves, let alone trying to take care of families. Thanks, Jeremy. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you might want to see what that book is about. I didn't get the book.
Sorry. Yeah, I didn't get any of the books because they were like this long. I looked at the when I was at the bookstore, and I still, like I was telling you earlier, when I was doing my research, I kept finding the same kind of information and all like the websites I was looking at and over and over. And I'm like, how did these people write like a book this thick about Jack the Ripper? Like, I guess I should probably got one of those big books and tried to read it in a 2-week span. But I read fast, but I don't have time to read fast.
So here it says that in each instance, the victims' throats were cut. The body was usually mutilated in a manner indicating that the murderer had at least some knowledge of the human anatomy. On one occasion, half of a human kidney, which had been extracted from a murder victim, was mailed to the police. The authorities also received a series of taunting notes, which we saw, from a person calling himself Jack the Ripper and taking full credit for the murders, like he wanted to be put on a pedestal for that. He wanted to be given credit.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Those letters that he wrote were really pretty gruesome in itself. And
yes.
I wish I could actually blow up one a little bit, but
I think I have, let me see.
But I have it said one of the letters that assistant commissioner throughout the murders wrote in his memoir was that undiscovered murders are rare in London and the Jack the Ripper crimes are not in that category. And he merely added that the only person who ever had a good view of the murderer unhesitantly identified the suspects the instant he was confronted with him, but he refused to give evidence against him in saying that he was a Polish Jew. So there was, I guess, some witnesses, but they wouldn't actually identify the person. Probably because they didn't want to get slaughtered themselves.
So the letter actually says this. it says, "Dear boss," here, I'm going to share it.
Okay.
Maybe. Here we go. All right. So it says, "I keep on hearing the police have caught me, but they won't fix me just yet. I have laughed when they look so clever and talk about being on the right track. The joke about leather apron gave me real fits. I am down on, I won't say the word, and I shan't quit ripping them till I get buckled." I'm not sure what that means. "Grand work the last job was. I gave the lady no time to squeal. How can they catch me now? I love my work and want to start again. You will soon hear of me with my funny little games. I've saved some of the proper red stuff in the ginger beer bottle over the last job to write with, but it went thick like glue and I can't use it. Red ink is fit enough, I hope. The next job I do, I shall clip the lady's ears off and send it to the police officers just for the jolly of it, basically. Keep this letter back till I do a bit more, then give it straight. My knife's so nice and sharp." That's awful.
Yeah, that's gross.
P.S. Wasn't good enough to post this before I got all the red ink off my hands. They say I'm a doctor now. Ha ha.
Right.
Taunting and laughing and ew.
So, one of the facts indicating that he was insane, it said the mission book also lists the following facts about him, which is attributed to a medical man. It says he declares that he is guided and his movements altogether controlled by an instinct that informs his mind. He says that he knows the movements of all mankind. He refuses food from others because he is told to do so, and he eats out of the gutter for the same reason. So he is pretty much crazy.
Yeah.
So sometimes, being that we're all part of the paranormal and we know, some people, will claim they have demons and whatever. So, if he's saying that he's guided by something, who knows?
Maybe he is.
Maybe he had a demon, attached to him. I don't get it.
It's very much possible.
Bye, Jeremy. Anything's possible. We weren't there at that time. I was not alive. So I couldn't tell you. But I know I don't get how people can do this. I don't think I will ever understand how another person can take another human's life.
Well, they don't find life valuable. Well, at least not other people's.
But I don't think they even find their own life valuable.
Usually that's true too.
If you're going to kill someone, you're definitely taking a risk of getting caught. You can't hide forever. Clearly you cannot hide forever because DNA is out there. Right. And the way they are able to investigate and have all the technology now. Well, that's what we're talking about, Anthony. Like he could have had a negative spirit, take over. But back then, did they actually have what is it? I can't think. What's the one where you have multi-personalities?
Schizophrenia.
Yeah. Maybe he had that because he was saying that somebody was telling him what to do. And schizophrenia people, they have like different people talking in their head. So, and you.
Well, it kind of makes. Here's kind of my thought a little bit. Back in the biblical days, okay, when people said that, what was it, the burning bush, and it was talking and people were coming, and People could hear it. And I mean, it was all, they had skeptics back then too, but it was totally proven that, at that time that, that really did happen. And so nowadays when people say, well, I hear voices or I hear this and I hear that, I mean, do we just write it off as they're paranoid schizophrenics? I mean, how do we know that something of a higher power isn't reaching out to them?
Right. No, I agree with you because I think any of us in this field can hear, feel, and see something. That's why we're part of this field. There's some people I think are a little above and beyond, but hey, that might claim other things, but then I gotta go, okay, we'll just go with that. But I think we're all in this because we've felt something or we've heard something and we've heard it with our own ears that's not there. There's multiple times I've heard my name, mom, and I'd be like, go to my kid, what do you want? And they're like, I didn't call you. Go to the next kid. What do you want? They're like, I didn't call you. Somebody called mom. Like, heard it clear as day. No, not us. Like, okay, well.
Yeah, but
I had 4 miscarriages, so maybe it's one of them, checking in.
We just crack it up that, oh, they're just crazy. Lock them up, lock them away, put them in an asylum, make them, but are they? How do we know that? That's because a lot of what we used to know isn't, it's the evolvement of time. Just like now and the changes that have happened just in the last, 10 years. It's just been the evolvement of time. So, it was acceptable and understandable then. And now it's like, okay, they're crazy. They're saying they're hearing voices and, they see things. And, and I actually know of a couple of people that, claim to be psychic mediums, and I'm no one to judge them, but for their family would turn them away and, or try to get them medicated or admitted. And, there's something wrong with you, and, and wouldn't just let them be and do what they're obviously chosen to do,
Well, because it was so heavily religious up until I think within the last few years. Religion played a lot of part in that. And most religions believe that anybody that can see, hear, feel, or think, as a medium, you're part of the devil. That's the devil's work, because only God can do that stuff.
Right.
And
so
I don't know either now.
I'm not trying to justify by any means this man mutilating these women who are trying to make a living and just trying to eat and living in poverty. But there is the potential that maybe this was beyond him. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Amityville Horror stuff,
right?
Where he was supposedly possessed and killed his entire family, and but how do we know that didn't really happen?
Right.
That's another topic we should cover sometime.
Right. And you're absolutely correct, because we like I said, we didn't live in that time era. We weren't the investigators of there, so we couldn't really tell what that man's behavior was without physically seeing him and talking to him and seeing how he reacted to things, we don't know. And the only thing that like that Russell Edwards, is you had to go by DNA at this point. That's we're just gonna say it was him because we found that DNA. When they said that there was, I think Jeremy posted, it was something about the liver, was it, or kidney? The kidney.
Yeah, kidney.
There was evidence on the kidney, and I have to wonder what evidence on the kidney did he leave, because
yuck.
Was
I don't
it
even want to think about what kind of
was it
DNA he left.
did he find two different types of blood on it? You know, because the kidney would have showed her blood for
Yeah,
sure.
but if he
But
was some kind of necrophiliac, I
right, and
mean,
that's
that's
what I
not.
was getting at. Like, was there semen on the kidney too, or was it, did he cut himself while he was slicing and dicing, you know?
I honestly can't see how he wouldn't have had some kind of injury somewhere with all of that.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure they're not going to just lay there and let him try to stab them. I'm sure that there was defense and whatnot, and maybe they just. I mean, back then, I'm not sure if you had warrants to search people's bodies or whatever. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally different. I don't know.
It's definitely intriguing. And I think I told you I would think it would be kind of cool to be an investigator like that. But
Oh, gross.
he was
It's like
eating naughty
another
parts.
Hannibal Lecter.
Ah, that's gross. I don't remember seeing that anywhere, but that's still gross if that is actually
I don't
true.
know. If he was doing that, though, would he have left it behind? Don't you think he would have taken it so he could have cooked it?
Well,
Unless he's eating it raw. Oh, God, I'm done.
but, but if he was eating it and left pieces behind, then his saliva would be on there. So then, of course, his DNA's on it. So,
Oh, to plan out. Yeah, you're probably right. Demonic,
yeah,
that's probably more spontaneous. I mean, it's probably more like right now instead of, okay, I'm going to get this bed ready and I'm going to go kidnap this prostitute. So, I
because
mean,
it
it'll
was all
probably be, yeah.
it was all premeditated, obviously.
So I
I
think
mean,
that's what he's saying is demonic possession wouldn't be premeditated murder.
yeah, I wouldn't think so, but I mean, but it's curious when you find something that says that he's blatantly saying something told me to do that. Well, what told you to do it? And you've seen that in other documentaries. Oh, something told me to, some people say God told me to do it because, they weren't a good person. So God told I'm a vessel of God and I'm doing God's work. Well, okay. You
Yeah.
can claim that.
Right.
But then again, was he a schizophrenic? Did they test for
There,
that?
yeah.
Did they have that? Because
Well, I don't think
maybe
they had medications back then like they do now to try
oh,
to
definitely not.
calm down some of that stuff. And I don't really know a lot of his childhood background.
Right.
So maybe
Like where
there
he
has trauma that has something to do with that, like childhood trauma.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be yeah, I didn't go down I guess I didn't go down in the rabbit hole far enough this time.
Well, I may have. I may have. I may have. You know how it is. Let me see here.
I did not go in the rabbit hole very long. But I was trying to look him up just now for a few minutes. But I did
Well, I
not go
have
down that rabbit hole.
something.
Let's see what Wikipedia says.
Well, it has to be true.
I
If
know,
you've got
right?
it. Okay, so
Here
here, let me share this. Here's this. This is what Jeremy was talking about.
So he was a Polish barber and hairdresser.
Yeah. We want this.
So he guess he
Okay.
would know how to use scissors and knives as he was a hairdresser.
So here's that Russell Edward for naming Jack the Ripper. And there's the drawing of Aaron Kozowski.
So his dad was a tailor.
Yep. He had two brothers and a sister.
He was actually employed into a hospital for as a hairdresser orderly for a time. He migrated from Poland in 1880 or 81. with his sister's families. He lived in Germany for a little bit and then went to England.
This says in 1891, he was officially deemed of unsound mind and was committed to the insane asylum.
Yep.
That was after the last murders.
But it doesn't say anything about his childhood.
No, it doesn't. It makes you wonder, though.
And this says on September 7th, 2014, Jerry Luhyan, an expert in historic
ugly.
An expert in historic DNA analysis, announced that he had been commissioned by British author Russell Edwards to study a shawl said to have been found with the victim. You know what? I think I remember watching Jeremy now. I think I remember that show that they did. I do remember that part. I do remember. Took me a minute to, read this and go, oh yeah, I remember watching him. Doesn't say much about his childhood.
It's all said and done now. So, I mean, there's not really a whole lot of justice that can be brought forward to this person. I guess knowing's half the battle. So, I mean, it's good to know, I guess, of who it was instead of it being a mystery. And I do remember seeing something about an author that had written a book about Jack the Ripper, and she was just asking that people still be respectful of the families. I mean, there are still relatives to these women out there, and just making sure that we're not making the situation worse than it was. I mean, not us, but just the public in general.
I think that goes for any family members of any of the serial killers. I mean, I think recently with Jeffrey Dahmer, they were talking about that because they kept showing the victims and they're like, could you please stop already? Like, enough is enough.
Well, they have to relive it over and over and over. And I mean, even in Jeffrey Dahmer's case, the only victim that survived, he ended up getting killed. And he ended up with a crazy life after that because of what happened to him. I mean, it really messed with him mentally.
Right.
So,
I mean, why wouldn't, anybody that's been in a horrific kind of torture form, I mean, it lasts for a long time. Like I said, I've seen news articles where somebody's been stabbed 12 times and I'm like, and lived through that. I'm like, oh, you some of us on your side that day, because 12 stabbings and they totally missed some organs there.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine, like if you've been stabbed or what and you live through that, that's painful. And I'm sure, especially when it's really gruesome.
What about the reverse of that, where you have these murderers who are the ones that are doing the stabbing, and they're like, well, how many times? And they're like, 4. And then they get the autopsy and it was like over 40. So, I mean, do they really believe that they only did it 4 or 5 times? I mean, how can you believe that?
Well, because and a lot of them will say they black out during it too.
Right.
I've heard that, and how do I put this lately? Somebody in my past said that, and I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't believe you. I mean, you know my story, so I'm not going to go into it. But that was told to me by the defense, by the prosecuting defense teams. Oh, he said this, and I was like, I can't believe that. Like I'm not going to believe that you blacked out and didn't know what you were doing. But a lot of times they will say they black out and they don't remember, like they feel like something takes over them. And I've seen that in documentaries, and I was like, I don't. I mean, sometimes you got to wonder how people really, how manipulative, how narcissistic they can be, and get people to believe what they say. Because how are you going to test that they blacked out? you can't. Is there a scientific way of testing that somebody blacked out during that time?
Yeah, Ace, I had actually heard that as well. I've actually read a couple of books about it, as well as watched, the movie reincarnations that they keep doing of it. And yeah, he definitely has some issues. I didn't know about that though. I didn't know that there was nothing that they found while he was in prison. I didn't know that. I didn't know that he was basically done. So yeah, he was probably Looney Tunes.
Yeah, Anthony, I could see where that myth comes from. That's kind of gross though. Eat your heart out. Yeah, that's gross. But you know what? Some of our saying, like, look, that's our whole show is nursery rhymes, serial killers, and fairy tales. Everything comes from something. It seems gruesome, saying someone eat your heart out, and it's like, where'd that line come from? Like, where did it come from?
Or break a leg. I'm curious. Yeah, maybe we should start doing acronyms like all these different little sayings and
break a leg is supposed to be a positive thing. It's like
I know
like good luck, and I'm like, I've always wondered, how does that mean good luck? Like break a leg, like
yeah, we should probably do like a segment on all these different little things we say all the time is that we think are so positive. They probably don't come from positiveness at all. So
right. So well, we got 4 minutes left.
You want to tell them about our change and how we're going to not be doing it every week now? And
yes, we're gonna be going every 2 weeks now, just because both of us are very busy in our lives. That we're finding that every 2 weeks is going to work best for us. So our next show is actually going to be April 6th. Which is my daughter's birthday. But I didn't want to wait. I was going to skip it, but we'll take her to dinner the day after because I don't want to wait a whole month. So it'll be April 6th that we are going to talk about. Go ahead. Share
the Black Dahlia. The Black Dahlia.
This one's a new one for me.
So
my son just got excited. He heard you and he got excited.
Yes. And he knows.
He knows more than I do. Because I was like, I don't know who that is.
It is actually a story that I have followed for years and years and years and years. And I actually have a tattoo that is actually named after the Black Dahlia. So I'm looking forward to doing more research, though, to see what's most current about that. So yeah, it should be a really good show. So I hope, that we find a lot of information that we can share with everybody and about it. Cause it's very, very sad what happened to this woman. And I don't know if it's solved or not. So I'm going to start hopefully DNA might be able to help with that story too.
Right.
So, but yes, the Black Dahlia, April 6th.
So, yep. And so it'll still be the same time, 7 p.m. on Thursdays, just every other week. That works best for us. So, but we do thank you guys for joining us tonight. Please join us next time. And we will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Peace out.